Hey everybody, the Tribal Butterflies here again! Okay, so pretty much ever since I started making the tutorial videos, I've gotten questions from people asking me, hey, how do you make ruffles, or how do you do a pleat? And I love that you guys are asking me these questions because it really shows me how much you guys respect my opinion and feel that I'm a professional, and that's wonderful. But unfortunately, like I've said before, I can't actually do those kinds of videos. The reason why I can't do visual instructional videos is because, well, there's a lot of reasons, and I've mentioned them before. One of them is I don't have a camera person, and I'd actually need somebody to hold the camera looking down onto my sewing machine to show you guys how to actually do stuff, and I don't have someone to do that, so I can't. Another thing is my camera itself is pretty crappy, and there's no way that it's gonna be able to focus on what I'm doing, because you know the area that is on the sewing machine is really small, and all you guys would end up seeing is big blurry jumble of colors, and it wouldn't make any sense anyway. So and those are just two of the many reasons why I can't do those kinds of videos. I'm sorry you guys, I can't do those kinds of visual videos. But, you know what? You don't really need them. I'll be honest with you, you don't really need me to sit there and show you and hold your hand. You know, I mean, when I first started sewing, I sewed for about 5 years. Yeah, five years. With absolutely nobody showing me what to do. I didn't take any classes for the first 5 years. I didn't have anybody standing over me saying, no, you're doing it wrong, no, you're doing it right. I didn't read any books to show me how to do it. All I had was me, some fabric, and my machine. And that's all I needed. So you guys don't really need somebody to hold your hand and show you how to do stuff. All you really need is a bit of fabric, a needle and thread. If you're lucky enough to have a machine, that's great, it just makes it faster. And that's really all you need. Just if you get an idea in your head, like, I really would like to make a ruffle, just figure it out, you know, just take some fabric, you know, play with it and figure out how you make a ruffle. I really want to figure out how to make pleats. Just same thing, take some fabric, figure it out, just try to make a pleat. Eventually you'll figure it out, and I promise you, you will remember it better if it's something that you figured out on your own rather than something that I've shown you how to do. Because if it's something that I showed you how to do, all you do is you just keep going back to that video. You'd never learn how to do it yourself for real. So trust me, it's not hard. It's not like if you screw up, you can't just throw it away and get another scrap of fabric and try again, right? So just try. Trial and error is the best way to learn how to do anything. And plus, when you do trial and error, you can discover stuff that other people haven't even discovered yet. So trust me, you totally want to do trial and error. And please don't be scared of trying things yourself, because there's really no reason to be scared of it. If you do it wrong, just throw it away and try again. It's not really a big deal. But for those of you out there who still feel totally intimidated and really need something to guide you, you're fortunate enough that there are books that you can get from your local library, you can order online, or you can find in your local bookstore. So I have a few books that I like that I'm going to show you guys. Now, I have done a video like this before where I talked about books that were really good. Before, I focused only on pattern making stuff. This time, I'm going to show you a wider variety of books, not just pattern making. But you know what, since I just said pattern making, let's start with pattern making. So recently, I got a book. Actually, I've talked about the book that came before this book. Now, this is Helen Joseph Armstrong's newest edition. I think it's the fifth edition to pattern making for fashion design. I have talked about the 4th edition in a previous video, and it's ridiculously good. Basically, this is like a pattern maker's or a fashion designer's Bible. You have to have this book because it's literally like hundreds and hundreds of pages of them showing you to do like all different kinds of crazy stuff. This one's about collars, different kinds of skirts, and you can just go through this and it shows you everything. It shows you everything about how to how to, in some cases how to sew it, but in most cases how to make the patterns for stuff. So if you're interested in pattern making, this is definitely a book that you want to have. This book is not cheap. This book was about $130, but it also includes how to make blocks, how to make women's wear, men's wear, kids wear, outerwear, swimwear. It does a little bit on knitwear, a little bit on draping. It even has a CD in the back, a DVD to like help you out, which is wicked. Again, pattern making, if you haven't watched my book on pattern or my video on pattern making, please go back and watch it. Remember that pattern making is not something that your basic cosplayer who does it as a hobby needs to learn how to do. You do not need to learn how to make patterns. You can just work off of existing patterns. Watch that video if you haven't watched it before, my video on pattern making. But if you're really interested in pattern making, you really need to get this book. It is fantastic. So this is a really good book to have if you're a pattern making enthusiast. You don't have to get it if you don't like pattern making, so don't feel pressured. Only if you really like pattern making should you get this book. Okay? Next, recently I have been really interested in corsets. I've only made like a handful of corsets before, and I really want to make a couple more of them. So I decided I would be a little bit more serious about it so that the stuff that I made would be a lot better structured and a lot more professional. So I went out. This is a brand new book. It is called The Basics of Corset Building, a Handbook for Beginners, and it is fantastic. This book basically shows you everything. It shows you what tools you need. This book is brand new, so I can barely open the cover, but it shows you like what tools you need, the steps to take when putting your corset together, how to put your boning in, how to do your lacing bone, how to put your grommets in, the lacing, different kinds of lacing you can do, all this kinds of crazy stuff. This is a ridiculously good book, and I'm so thrilled to have it now. This book was, I think it was about $30. I can't find the price in here, but it was something like $32, $34, something like that. So this book was really great to have. If you're interested in making corsets and you want to make corsets really badass, you should probably pick up this book. So if you're interested in corset making, this is the book for you. I feel like I'm on Reading Rainbow, showing off books. Okay, now, this next book, Fashion A to Z, I just picked this up. It is fantastic. It is a book that is basically a dictionary, but it's a fashion dictionary. So any kind of terminology that is used in the fashion world, different kinds of style lines, different kinds of fabrics, different names for different kind of outfits, they're all here in this book. This book has illustrated drawings so that you know exactly what they're talking about, and it's just fantastic. For someone who wants to make fashion their industry, like me, you really need to know all these terms, and there's so many of them. How the heck are you supposed to memorize them all, right? So I bought this book, and this book was $38. This was a really expensive one. So yeah, this is really something you should know, or at least have with you to help you if you want to work in fashion or in costumes. Because that way when somebody says to you, oh, I really want something in a jacquard print, how many of you people out there know what a jacquard print is? I didn't know, now I do, right? So really good print, really good book to have. Okay, this is actually going to have to be a two-parter. Doesn't that suck? I hate two-parter videos, but it looks like I have no choice because I still have another 3 books to show you. Sorry.